Hello, everyone. Thank you for being here with us today. Today's a really special day. Stephanie, tell us why we're celebrating today.
Hi, everyone. We are celebrating. This is our 10th episode of
Woo-hoo!
WTF Walk the Floors. Number 10. Woo!
Number 10. Now, why is number 10 such a big milestone? Because anyone would say, yeah, 10 episodes, big deal. Why is it a milestone?
Yes, because now we are in the statistic of being better than 64% of other podcasters who usually stop before they get to episode number 10. So we
There
are
you go.
And excited with more to come in 2022.
And let's be honest there, for a minute or two, here and there, one day or another, did it cross your mind? Should we keep going? Is anyone watching?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Right?
Even though we know we have an amazing amount of content to be able to share, but then at the same time, is it really worth the time of what we're doing, of setting this up, making sure that we're talking about things that are relevant and not seeing anyone watching or commenting?
Which is fine. We know that there's always someone out there that is watching. They may not give us the like, but it doesn't matter, because we know this will help either a leader in the making or a leader that is out there having a rough time and can take a good laugh on whatever story we came up with. So I agree, we keep going. Whether you're watching or not, we keep going.
Yes, absolutely. On to now our next goal of number 20. Wow.
There you go.
Yes, yes. Awesome. All right, so let's see what we're going to talk about today.
Today is a fun and special day, as every time that we're out here, and we are going to be focusing on front of the house operations, mainly valet and bell and all those beautiful areas that sometimes we don't pay too much attention. But the reality is, even though the interactions with our guests are very quick, they are still very impactful. Because in most cases, these interactions are the first interactions that a guest has with our team.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. And the lasting impression, too, when they're departing.
Yes. So it's the opener and the closer. Absolutely.
All right.
All right. So I have two quick stories to share. One, I titled it Any Day Now. and here we go. It involves a valet parking team member and a guest. Guest gets his vehicle. I was waiting at the valet area. I was actually working and I was undercover. And it was so painful to watch, because it's one of those moments where you see it all go down, but you can't do anything about it, because you're there to put things in writing and to report and to truly see what's going on without your team necessarily knowing that you're there. So it was really, really rough to watch it. There was a guest right beside me who was waiting for his vehicle, and he waited a good 15 to 17 minutes.
Wow.
So yes, wow is right. And he was very upset. And I could hear him. He was with someone else dressed in a suit. So it was clear that they were going to a business meeting. And I could hear him tell the person that was with him that he was so upset. They were not going to make it. They were not going to make it on time and this and that. So his voice starts escalating and he starts saying, any day now, any day now. And at a point, he was so loud that the team member who was on the other side of, there were 2 rows of vehicles. He was on the other side of the 2 rows of vehicles, turns around and says, what? And I was like, no, this is not good. It's going to go down, right? So it it didn't escalate. The team member was able to tone it down a notch, and guest was able to regroup, but it wasn't pretty. And the guest was very upset. It was clearly a long time to wait for his vehicle. It was going to end up in an issue if he didn't make it to his meeting on time. And the way that, even though the guest was being rowdy or loud or upset in front of other people, that was not the right way for our team member to react to the situation.
No.
So I think that's a great example as to why it's very important to train our team members on how to communicate in those types of situations,
Yep.
B, how to deal with an upset guest, and then C, how to de-escalate an issue.
Absolutely.
Because there was another team member that was nearby, and he never got in between to say, hey, calm down, we got you, sir. Nothing. Like, how may we assist you? Please give me your ticket. I will go get your vehicle for you. None of that happened. So I think it was a great opportunity for us to learn from it. And most definitely, there were lots of changes that came into play after that, to include training with these team members.
Absolutely. Wow. What a story.
What a story. What about you? Do you remember any situation like this with maybe valet parking?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Same thing, was doing an inspection. And as you were saying, is, the staff needs to also of having their go-to conversation as well for guests that are waiting for their car to be brought up by another staff member. So here I had a guest or an employee that was talking to me and asking me questions, and then when the car came up, was then saying as his fond farewell is, oh, have a nice safe travels to Chicago. And I'm like, oh, that's really weird. I never mentioned anything of that. And at the time I was living in California, so I was like, I have nothing close to being by there. And then I came to find out that I got spotted.
No. And here you were hoping that your rental car license plate said Chicago, right?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
But yeah, so that was one that I had to take for the team. But it's also too of making sure that you have your information correct as when you are communicating to the guests, because then the guest is going to be like, why are they making this conversation up? Or where are they finding out that where I come from, Chicago? And or whether things may come up that is incorrect. But yeah, so it was a tough time when I found out I got spotted. But here, talking into these two different situations, it's all about actually being a team as well, is because one employee may be having to engage a little bit more with another employee why the car is coming up, or maybe the guest has a lot of different questions, and really training your team too of how to handle certain situations that may arise more often than others. Say, for example, car times. You can't really predict as much as, what time that hit's going to come if it's, just a regular departure day. And then also too of having those ways to now anticipate the guest needs, to how can you now go above and beyond for the guest in an unfortunate situation where they are going to be running late to their meeting.
Absolutely. What about the minute details, like, for example, changing the radio station or moving every single mirror?
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Or I get it, I'm super short, so it makes sense for anyone out there who parks my car is gonna have to move the seat backwards. Yeah. But do you really have to adjust up and down, and then the back, and then every single, so it's one of those things where, sure, it's typically something that is on the SOP and on their training manuals, but do we remind them of these teeny tiny details often enough? Do we do it?
Absolutely.
And Yeah, and having those reminders perhaps in their office or wherever it is that they start their meetings or their pre-shift meetings before getting out there is always a great way to set those reminders perhaps in a visual way.
Yes.
Where they can pay attention to the little details. How many times did you drop off an Audi and you received a Toyota Corolla, for example, right? How many of those situations we've seen in the past where, someone dropped off one vehicle and received a different one, right?
Absolutely.
Or
a damaged vehicle.
Yes. Or yes, a damaged vehicle. That's nerve-wracking.
Yeah, but that's why it's also too with the staff members to be attentive to the details right as soon as the car is arriving, because I definitely have seen it where the guest, it may have a few scratches and it's not noted on the ticket, and then now the car is brought up and then the guest automatically blames valet when Valet should have wrote down that there was dents or scratches on the car upon arrival.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. And swapping vehicles is a situation that easily happens too on the other side, from the side of the guest. When the guest has a rental vehicle, and maybe you don't remember what kind of car you rented because you arrived late at night, or you have two rentals that are the same color, the same everything, and all you do is look at the sticker on the side to make sure it's a rental, and that's it, right?
Yeah.
And then you get in and there's sunglasses that are not yours. So I think it goes both ways for our attendants to make sure that they're paying attention on our guests, also to do so.
And even also too of aware of their surroundings, is because how many times have we seen the valet guys tossing keys, because it's easier or faster to toss the key to their other staff member, and then now it looks like it's a circus and everyone's juggling keys, and the guest is like, what's going on? Of being like, okay, if they're not even taking care of my keys, imagine how they're going to take care of my vehicle also.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah, or on their cell phone. I mean, I know we see that in all other departments that are guest facing areas, but a lot of times they'll, be trying to check, and then the guest is struggling trying to get their luggage through the front door. Or, another one that's my pet peeve is counting money in front of the guest view. Is I just, that should be done in their back office area or an area that isn't in front of the guest.
Yeah, agreed. That happens a lot during shift change.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Those are great points.
Yeah. And then, we've been talking about with the car, like a guest that's arriving with their own vehicle, but then also too, now more and more guests are arriving via taxi or a ride share and not seeing that warm welcome as if they had brought their own car to the front drive. I don't know if you're starting to see that, but definitely starting to see that in my inspections, arriving in different modes of transportation and seeing.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And I think it goes back to one of our episodes where we touched base on the fact that there are certain positions that are tipped. Mm-hmm. So in many cases, I think that there's a lot of that going on where the team now doesn't quite care to provide that level of service and care for our guests arriving at the property and providing them with a warm welcome. Mm-hmm. I agree with that. I see that a lot here on this side of the country too.
Yeah. And that's something of just, you have to, these are guests that are coming. They may only be coming for the restaurant or a meeting, not even staying, but they're coming to be on your property. And just as we said, it's, that first point of contact of arrival, and then that last departure as well. So if they're departing, by rideshare or taxi. It's, they end up opening their door themselves and, not getting that fond farewell as departing.
Agreed. Agreed. So do you want to jump on to the next subject?
Yes, let's see here. All right. What do we got here? Oh my gosh.
Oh, honey, why did you bring the snow chains? So this was super funny. So let's move from valet parking to bell desk. I checked in. I was a guest this time. Checked into a hotel, a very nice hotel that everybody knows. And as we pulled in, Belle helped us with our luggage, completely empties out everything that was in the trunk. So by the time I'm up in the room, the luggage arrives, things gets, we start getting settled in. I start organizing our luggage and so on. And I noticed the little box, the plastic box that holds the snow chains. And I was like, why? Why? So I yell at my husband, honey, why did you bring the snow chains? Like, what does this mean? I don't understand. Because I didn't bring the snow chains. I'm like, I'm looking at the snow chains right now.
Oh no.
So he comes over, he's like, where did we bring snow chains? I'm like, they were in the car. So then, we started thinking backwards and we realized that the bell person that had helped us with our vehicle and our luggage had completely emptied out the trunk without really asking, do you need this or does this go through? So I think it's one of those moments where common sense is so important.
Yes,
so absolutely. Very important, because it was very easy to spot that it wasn't like a little box where we had, I don't know, toys or Legos or something for the kids. It was clearly slow chains and it had the sticker on it still.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
But also too, how about with departure? I mean, I've definitely seen it as well with the staff not verifying the correct luggage. Everyone has black suitcases and now they go return their rental car or drive all the way home and find out that the suitcases that they have was not theirs.
That has to be so much fun.
Oh yeah, it's and then also too, it's like, okay, now obviously that gets up to management on the situation, and how do you take that to start retraining the staff and bringing it to their attention, but then also too of changing it around for the guests so then they're not going on TripAdvisor and stating
which they're gonna do anyway. And guess what? The person that receives that first email from the guest saying, what are you guys doing? You gave me the wrong luggage, or that phone call, that same person is the one that is going to say, did they not check their luggage? Right?
Yes.
100%. Like, why did they not check their luggage? And then you go speak with your team member. Team member says the exact same thing, same comeback. What? Did they not check their luggage? Who doesn't check their luggage?
Oh, I know. And I think also too, back then we used to kind of, when guests were talking about it, is trying to avoid acknowledging the situation. And now the guests are like, no, you're going to acknowledge what the breakdown was. And then we're going to talk about how we can now rectify to make it better, or whatever compensation needs to be done. But I know, I would just remember back in the day, we would be like, oh, I'm so sorry. I wonder how that happened. And, just trying to play fakeness to the guests to get them off the phone, or buy time to see exactly what's going on. But now the guests do not have the patience for you to buy time at all. It's like, okay, yes, that did happen. Let's see how we can make that better for you right now.
Absolutely. Times change and we have to adapt and learn how to deal with the new guests and how this, demanding world works,
Yeah.
that it affects absolutely every single department.
Absolutely.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Do you have a story you want to share, Stephanie?
Oh, geez. I mean, when it came to Bellman, I definitely received the wrong luggage. Couldn't find my luggage, and it was stored outside. And we've even, when I was working in operations, we really didn't have a Bell storage closet. So a lot of times the luggage would be outside, and Florida weather wasn't always the best on our side either. So even having to now deal with luggage being wet, and it's definitely been some stories of just the logistics that you're having to work with. I've seen it even for those hotels that their rooms are spaced out as well, so you are walking through the outside, and it's like, okay, we know that rain's coming or some kind of weather, where it's mother nature, but how can we do that? By getting luggage cart covers, or looking at the logistics as well, knowing that this is what we have to deal with. So it's always be smarter than the system.
That's a great story. That's great.
Yeah. But the last thing I want to just touch upon too is, we're talking about with like team and communication with the departments, and on the front drive, you are having 3 different departments with the front doorman, the valet, the bellman. They may be also too, one of those departments may be outside vendors as well. And now they're also too, the journey of the guest is going from going to the front desk or coming from the front desk. So it's also too relying on your other departments and team members for the guests to have that smooth arrival or departure. It's not just you're out on an island alone out on the front drive, but you really do rely on your other teammates. So
Absolutely. How many times do we go through reports from the various companies where our guests can complete a survey?
Yeah.
And then you start thinking, how is it possible that our scores dropped like this? Well, guess what? Let's go backwards and see what happened with the interactions those other departments had leading up to our department having that interaction. Did it start to go downhill? And that's why by the time they get to us, they're already upset. They're going to find absolutely every single bitty detail an issue. So yeah, not working in silos and thinking like you're in an island is extremely important in our industry.
Yeah.
Every department is linked, and whatever happens in every department is going to affect the next, for sure.
Absolutely. Great. So this was awesome. Such a good episode. Anything else you want to add?
No, thank you for being here. Number 10.
Yes. Woo.
Let's keep going.
Yes, absolutely. Now, and we have some guests that are going to be coming on. We're, just finalizing some logistics on that. So we're looking forward to getting some more inside tips and crazy stories that want us to pull our hair out. But yeah, so I think 2022 is going to be great for us at WTF here.
Exciting stuff.
Wonderful. All right. Well, thank you, everyone.
All right. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.